I've discovered some really cool music in 2024. Some new.
If it were only me, I wouldn't have a problem living happily.
Some pretty old.
Now don't make me wait.
And some just flat out revolutionary. Hey everybody, welcome to Amy Nolte Music. Today I'd like to talk about 5 songs that blew me away in 2024. Now it doesn't mean that the songs came out in 2024, it means that I discovered them or they happened in 2024. And for me, I've realized something about myself this year. I think teaching stuff on YouTube, playing my own shows, writing a few songs this year have taught me that maybe one of the most important things, if not the most important thing to me in music, is the way that melody fits with harmony, fits with lyrics to make something absolutely beautiful. I made a video maybe about a year ago called The Most Beautiful Melodies in Existence, where I talk about this kind of thing. And to me, all 5 of these songs are that. So they tear you apart. Like, there are no bangers in this list of mine, no bops. It doesn't mean that I don't listen to that kind of music, fast music or happy music, but to me, just my very favorite things kind of tear me apart, make me feel something, make me realize something. They're universal in a way, and I think everybody can feel them. So anyway, I hope that when we listen to them. Let's dive into the first one, which is by the great John Mayer. And also, I forgot to mention that if you'd like to watch the extended cut of this video, head over to Nebula Now. We really go into depth on all of these songs. Plus, you can get a free PDF that you can look at while we're going through the music. Now, this song did not come out in 2024. It's You're Gonna Live Forever in Me. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I think it's universal. I'll talk about that later. Let's go over to the piano and talk about this beautiful song. It's the very last track on The Search for Everything. All right, let's check out what the piano part does. G with an F sharp under it, G with an F, and G with an E. It's just a G chord, but we've got this movement. Then we're gonna hop down to a C chord. More movement. Isn't that nice? So it's 1 with a variation, 4 with a variation, then here. F9 over A. The song is in G. It's kind of a variation on a minor 4. That's pretty much what it is. It's just got an A in it, You could call it C minor 6. But it's super nice. Then we do this upwards motion. So we've got downward twice and upward once. Isn't that cool? Then we have this really strong line. It's a Lydian line. It's a line with the sharp 4. There's the sharp 4. And then here. Upward motion. That's back to the 1. Now we're to the 2. It's a strong line. Then, real easy. It's super understated. That's what it is. And I'll tell you a secret. It never changes. There's no bridge in this song. There's no chorus in this song. It's 3 very strong verses with some amazing orchestration. Great Big Bang and dinosaurs, fiery raining meteors, it all ends unfortunately. You hear how first it does this in E minor, then it does it again but with the A, It's like a repeat, but a change. You're gonna live forever in me, I guarantee. Just wait and see. Now this line right here, bong dong dong, somehow it just is, it encompasses just wait and see for me. It's so much about waiting. Parts of me were made by you, and planets keep their distance too. The moon's got a grip on the sea, but you're gonna live forever in me. This verse to me, parts of me were made by you. This is a song that's universal in some way, in some ways. Like, you could argue that dating somebody, being married to somebody, living with them for several years, then you could say parts of me were made by you, for sure. You could also say that if you are a daughter or a son of somebody. You could say that parts of me were made by you. And this song can be used in different ways. Now, the last verse says, and when the pastor asks the pews for reasons he can't marry you. Now that makes the song become specific all of a sudden. Whoa. The person you've been talking about is getting married? I'll keep my word in my seat. So, that's one of those moments when he wants to stand up and say, no, don't marry him. I'm the one, That's the only thing that really makes this song specific. And if you listen to John Mayer's performance of this for a in memoriam that he did, he changes those words.
And when the pastor asks the pews for someone to remember you.
And I have a brother-in-law who wanted to sing this for his wife, and he changed the words at the end too. I kind of feel like maybe John Mayer wants us to keep this song for whatever it means for us, and I don't think he would mind if we changed that last verse, because that last verse was for him. He wrote it. That's what it meant to him. But I don't think he minds one bit if anybody would like to think about this song in a different way. And I think he told us that when he changed the words to sing about people we had lost in that year. This song is crazy for this reason. The very last time when he says, just wait and see, it just keeps going. And he whistles again. And it just stays. To me, that he's proving that you're going to have to wait and see. Who knows what the future is going to bring. He is waiting on this dominant 5 chord right here. And in some ways, he might wait forever. In some ways, I think it's beautiful. And it doesn't bother me one bit that the song never resolves. I think that's the point. No resolution. The resolution is the waiting. Now, one cool thing that happened to me in 2024 is that I got to talk to John Mayer a little bit. And he's the one who told me about the next song that I'm going to talk about, which is Chappell Roan's Coffee. Have you heard it?
Before coffee, 'cause if we had wine.
It's definitely not one of her hits. Like, if you talk to any teenager, they're not going to talk about the song Coffee. But I am. I'm a little older. It's a good song. All right, let's look at Coffee. It starts very high. Such a nice understated little intro. We're going to be in the key of D for this one. Can't meet you for dinner at the Italian place. It's where I met your family. I call this G6. It's almost E minor, but it's got a G on the bottom. It's the 4 chord. And some words were exchanged. Then it resolves to the 4. I'd suggest the jazz bar on Marianne Street, but then you'd buy me a drink, and then we know where that leads. streets. So she's thinking about places. It starts out just like he wants to meet her, but we can't meet here. Something happened there. We can't meet here because if you buy me a drink, we know what happens. So seems like they were together a while ago. They've tried to make it work maybe a couple of times, and every time it leads back to his place, and she doesn't want that to happen again. It's a really cool premise for a song.
Maybe for coffee, 'cause if we have wine, you say that you want me, I know that's a lie.
So I'll meet you for coffee, 'cause if we have wine. Now, this is the same kind of thing that happened in the John Mayer song. We've got the tonic, but we depart from it with a slash chord. And it's so powerful. It brings you to the 4 chord. If we have wine, you'll say that you're sorry. Now things descend in a faster pace. And I know that's a lie. Easy harmony, but those slash chords make all the difference. If I didn't trust you, it would be fine. It's like an A minor over C right there, because we're leading back to G. I think it's a nice choice. Like it could have been another D with a C on the bottom, but it's a little bit sadder than that. It's an A minor with a C on the bottom, and it leads us to G. So I'll meet you for coffee, only for coffee. We come to the 5 chord. Nowhere else is safe. Here's a dark place again. It's the minor 4. Every place leads back to your place. More places. You say, let's do the park, 'cause I love the park. And that may be true, but God forbid it gets dark. That's cool. The first time we couldn't do the bar because what if you buy me a drink? This time, oh no, the park is cool, seems safe, but what if it gets dark? Like what if we talk that long? And then it really does get dark in the song right here. So God forbid it gets dark. So not only is the weather getting dark, but the song is getting dark. Here come the excuses that fill the illusions. So he's got a habit of not owning up to stuff, I think. But I'd rather feel something than nothing at all. That's dark too, because she's admitting that maybe she just needs to feel a little something. It's a battle within herself. So here's her compromise.
Maybe for coffee, 'cause if we have wine, you'll say that you're sorry, I know that's a lie. If I didn't trust you, it would be fine. Only for coffee, nowhere else is safe. Every place leads back to your.
And you think that we're going to go back and do another verse or something, but actually at this point we're moving on to the bridge, and the bridge just moves to the mediant chord, to the F sharp minor. Every place leads back to your weave. So it's a little fake out. Done this before, to the 4 chord, back to the minor 3. I don't need it anymore. It's this really cool chord. I call it A sus with a flat 9. And then we've got the last thing. It's the last chorus. And instead of saying, so I'll meet you for coffee, this time she changes her mind. So let's not do coffee. Let's not even try. It's better we leave it and give it some time. If I didn't love you, we haven't heard that before, it would be fine. 'Cause if we do coffee, it's never just coffee. We hear the flat 9 again, and she sighs. It's never just coffee. And we don't know what happens. We don't know if they meet. But I think that sigh says, yes, we're gonna meet. That's all I have to say about that. I think it's a very telling sigh, and I think it's a very well-written song. The next song I'd like to talk about is by Labi Siffre. I did not know who he was until 2024. And I have made a mess of myself just diving in to his catalog. He is still with us. He's taken a retirement sometime in the 80s or 90s, but he has so much music that lives on, and I can only dream that there will be more to come in the future because he's so thoughtful. He's a jazz guitar player and an amazing songwriter and singer, and I love the song Love Song for Someone.
A song is a way of saying things one would never say. That's why I'm writing this today. This is my love song for someone.
Love Song for Someone starts with a beautiful guitar riff that you might confuse at the beginning. You might think that it's on a different beat. When I first heard it, I thought it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Da, ba, 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 ba. It's not quite that. It happens a half beat earlier. 1, 2, 3, good, da, da, 1, and da, ba, ba, ba. That's the way it happens. It's pretty clever. So it means that this D major 7 chord starts with a C sharp. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I really like the way that minor second sounds in his guitar. I think it's genius. Let's talk about the harmony and melody here. Back and forth. You might not know what key you were in if you just heard the song, but it's in the key of A, or maybe F sharp minor, and so it starts on this 4 chord. I love songs that start on the 4 chord. It's a very simple melody. Da, 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 a bunch of times in a row. But then we go to the minor 2 chord. Da, 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 da. And that's the first time I think we really know that A is home. I also need to interject something right here that I forgot to say when I was shooting with my good lighting and everything. It's that it sounds like I make a date for golf and you can bet your life it rains. It sounds like the jazz standard, Everything Happens to Me. But I think it's different enough that it doesn't really matter. But I like that maybe Labi Siffre knew that song and brought it about in his own song in his own way. And I think it's just fine. And there's a slight little flatted ninth on that E7 chord. Listen to it. It's that note in there. Da 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 da. Do 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 dee da do 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 do. He says the whole melody for us with his guitar before we even hear any vocals come in. I know you love me, I love you too. It's very easy for me to do. These are lyrics that you look at them and you think they're so simple, anybody could have written them. You might also think that about the melody. It's such a simple melody, anybody could have written it, but the simplest ones are the hardest ones. And it doesn't just stay there. He could have done that again. He chose to move on. Call my name, you're calling my heart. It's just the same. Name and heart are the same. How did I live before you came? It's easy to, now this, see why I love you. That kind of is like the beginning, isn't it? I mean, it's not exactly like it, but I think it calls it to mind.
When you're here with me, the rest of the
world seems to disappear. There's really no need to explain to you. You're feeling the same way that I... Don't you think he's gonna say do? Feel... I heard an interview where Labi Siffre says that he kind of hates that part of songwriting, that things have to rhyme. And so I'm sure that this was a deliberate choice to just perk up your ears for a second and be like, oh, I thought he was going to say do. No, he said feel, which is better, I think.
You get a word at the end of a line, and there are only so many words that will fit, will scan. And you just have to hope that one of those words will lead you on to something that means what you want to say. I'd like to write a song in which absolutely there was no rhyme whatsoever. And, for example, just take a conversation, record a conversation, and then put it to music.
The next song that I'd like to talk about it comes out of bias, I suppose, because it was written by my son, Charlie Nolte. He's 21. He, on a strange twist of fate, has become a model this year. He's walked some shows for some big brands. He's like taking a break from music, but he keeps getting to come home and write for a little while between gigs. And he is writing. He's written a lot of songs this year. And if I didn't need to be unbiased as a YouTuber, I might have chosen all 5 of his songs, because every one that he sends, my husband and I listen to him and we're just like, gosh, how did he just do it again? This song is called One, and I can let you hear it because it's not released yet. He released one single so far. It's called I Don't Care. You can hear it. You can follow him on Spotify so that you don't miss the next thing that he releases. It'll be coming soon. I don't know if it'll be this one, but let's talk about it and let's listen to Charlie sing One.
She's got eyes that say home and glitter that falls from her head to her toes. She's got a mind with a mind of its own, all in one. I think of the past, acting a fool just to make the girl laugh, and her at my side felt like carrying cash when I had none. She used to cry, I couldn't understand why, but I felt it with all of my heart. I'd hold her face, make the whole world wait just to keep her right there in my arms. And now she kneels, lost in the sand, and smiles in a way only I understand, placing seashells in the palm of my hand, all in one. When she cries, I can understand why, because I am the guy I am now. If there's tears in her eyes, then I make it alright, in the only way I know how. I stand in the door, she's sitting there on the floor. It's like watching tomorrow, now and before, all in one.
Charlie's song. It's also in D. How about that? She's got eyes that stay home. He moves in a different way than John Mayer and Chappell Roan did. The slash chord happens not as a bass note that moves. It happens as a chord tone that moves. Bass note stays the same. And glitter that falls from her head to her toe. We go to the 4 chord and Charlie gives us a Lydian note. It's a melody that's clearly in D, but we're on the 4 chord. So to keep that degree of D, the 7th degree, it becomes the sharp 4. We come down to the 2 chord. The song is in 6/8 also. That's really nice. She's got a mind with a mind of its own. I can't sing that low note, but it's... best line in the song, maybe. She's got a mind with a mind of its own. Holy moly, Charlie. All in. We've got this E half diminished chord over a B flat. 1. Then he goes. If it were me, I would have written a minor chord. But it's more hopeful than that somehow. It doesn't go minor. I like it. I'm going to let Charlie sing you this part.
Think of the past, acting a fool just to make the girl laugh, and her at my side felt like carrying cash when I had none.
But I'm going to stop him right there because, and her at my side felt like carrying cash when I had none. I already said that a mind with a mind of its own was the best line of the song. I think I lied. It might be this one. Let's go to the bridge. She used to cry, I couldn't understand why. That lyric isn't so special just to hear it or to read it, but Charlie has a way of delivering a line that to me makes a simple lyric feel like it has so much more weight than it does. Every time.
She used to cry, I couldn't understand why, but I felt it with all of my heart.
But I felt it with all of my heart. Somehow these very simple chords on the bridge and the melody that is high in his voice and his delivery makes it feel super intimate. You think it couldn't get more intimate, and then he delivers this line.
And now she kneels, lost in the sand, and smiles in a way only I understand.
There's a couple things that show that they get each other, and it's very special to the two of them that they understand each other in a way that nobody else does. Smiles in a way only I understand. I love the way that the lyric falls over that melody right there. The cadence is gorgeous. You think it can't get more intimate.
Placing seashells in the palm of my hand, all in one.
Back to the bridge, and we learn something. I don't know what it means, but we learn a little something.
When she cries, I can understand why, because I am the guy I am now.
Maybe he's done some changing. Maybe she's done some changing. She doesn't see him the same way anymore. And we get one more lyric about how they get each other.
If there's tears in her eyes, then I make it alright in the only way I know how.
And now we get a visual.
I stand in the door.
Not at the beach anymore. Back at her place, I'm imagining.
She's sitting there on the floor. It's like watching tomorrow, now and before.
It's like watching tomorrow, now and before.
All in one.
All in one. One reason I love that, the symbolism of the title is because it was a gathering seashells in her hand and all coming together. Like, to me, it just feels right to talk about one in this song. And I'm really excited to hear what he does with it in the future. The last song that I want to talk about isn't even a song. It's a moment. It's a thing that happened because I decided to make something called the 4-Note Challenge that I put at the end of every one of my episodes of Quarter Notes with Amy Nolte on the Nebula platform this year. Larry Goldings was my first guest, and we sat right there at the piano, and we played duets together, and we talked about music. We talked about everything that's important to us music-wise. And at the end, I asked Larry if he could make something out of 4 notes that I came up with on the spot. And what he did blew my friggin' mind. You can see me. I look like a mess just sitting over there about to cry. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to let you listen to it because he made it. There was no editing, no take two. Larry did that on the spot. And it's the things that I talked about. It doesn't have lyrics, but the melody and the harmony and the rhythm, the phrasing, his tiny little choices just sent me over the edge that day, and I'm so grateful that that moment happened and that I was there to witness it. I have one last thing to ask you.
Yeah.
If I came up with a 4-note motif,
Yeah.
could you make a little something out of it? It doesn't have to be anything amazing, just whatever comes to mind.
I'll try.
And I'm just going to think of it right here, too. And
Okay.
this is something that I'll ask all of my guests to do.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll call it the part of the show where you have to do something with a 4-note motif.
Okay.
It's a good title. All right, here it goes. It's this one.
Okay. Sure.
I just want to hug you. You got me like teary-eyed over 4 notes. You can see this episode of Quarter Notes with Larry Goldings if you sign up for Nebula. That's my streaming service. I say mine because I helped build it with other creators, other amazing creators who like to go a little deeper than you might go on YouTube. Nebula is a platform. It's for thoughtful content. It's for content that takes you a little bit further. Maybe for people with a bigger attention span than you might have if you're just watching a YouTube video that's flashy with lots of cuts and everything. There's no algorithm that pushes you anywhere on Nebula. You go there, you look up what you want. I mean, there are suggestions, but after you're there, there's no likes, there's no comments, there's no view count, nothing that can crush my ego. There's no ads ever. So it's this safe space, if you will, to go deeper. Like I said, my show Quarter Notes is there. I've interviewed Larry Goldings, Dennis Ham, Jackie Terrison, Jacob Mann. You can see all 4 of them. They're under the Classes tab. You can also, in the Classes tab, see the classes that I've produced with Nebula. Everything I know about chords, part 1 and part 2. If you like this kind of stuff that we've been talking about, you can learn how to do it. I'm not even kidding. In my Everything I Know About Chords class, I walk you through it. Even if you've never played a chord before in your life, you'll be able to by the time you're finished watching. It's kind of like a master class, it's a couple hours long. You should sit at your instrument during it. If you'd like to learn to improvise better, I've got a class called creating motifs for jazz improvisation, I can show you how to make meaningful motifs, make your own melodies that mean something. Nebula is a place where I put extended cuts of videos like this one. You see the smaller cut on YouTube, but you'll see the full cut on Nebula, where I'm allowed to play longer clips of the songs that I talk about because I'm educating you about them, and why shouldn't I be able to play longer clips? All it's going to do is make you want to go listen to these people's songs, right? You can sign up for Nebula by clicking the code right here. It's $36 for the entire year. That's $3 a month, which is less than buying 1 cup of coffee the whole month. It's a really good move if you'd like to support me, and you can also support all the other creators on Nebula making all kinds of content that runs across the board, everything from music to pop culture, movies, history, you name it, you're going to learn about it on Nebula. You can hear other great music creators that I love, like Adam Neely and Mary Spender, and 12-Tone Music, and Polyphonic, and Charles Cornell. All of them are going deeper on Nebula. You can also watch amazing, beautifully produced Nebula originals, like one of my favorite shows, Jetlag, the series. Sign up for Nebula by clicking the code. It gives you a big discount if you use my code, $36 for the year. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you next time on Amy Nolte Music.